This is Alaksandr Papko, and our guest is Anzorem Maschadov, the son of former president of Chechen Republic of Ichkeria. Anzorem Maschadov is one of the leaders of Chechen diaspora and Chechen democratic movement, and he's also a leader of the organization which is called the Movement for Liberation of Chechnya. Anzor, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You came here from Kiev recently. In May, if I'm not mistaken, you moved to Ukraine. Why did you decide to go to Kiev, and what you and your colleagues are doing in Ukraine?
Well, when the Russian occupants came to Ukraine, let's say, I felt that I need to travel to Ukraine and be with Ukrainian people. So, and I just want to say, we have two battalions, Chechen battalions, fighting against the Russian occupants. So I wanted to come to these battalions because I know them, and I was there for more than 1 month in Ukraine, and let's say about 2 weeks ago, I went to Ukraine again. I was with a Chechen battalion in Zaporozhye and Kiev and in other places.
And could you tell a couple of words, please, about these battalions? So it's Jahar Dudayev battalion and Sheikh Mansour battalion, and those units are fighting for Ukraine since 2014. But as far as I understand, those are young people. They are not fighters from First or Second Chechen Wars. Who are them?
No, they are different, as you say, young people, and those people, they were fighting during the first Russian Chechen War and the second Chechen War, so let's say veterans of these wars. So they are fighting in Ukraine since 2014, and they know how to fight. They've been fighting in Ukraine for a long time, so we are fighting against Russian occupants in Ukraine.
And could you tell us, please, are they people from the Chechen diaspora around the world, or they moved directly from Chechnya?
Yeah, some people from Chechen diaspora from European countries, and some people from Ukraine. These people were living in Ukraine. And I want to tell a bit more. There are two battalions, the biggest one, and there are some people, they are in Ukrainian army now, in different divisions.
And do they feel afraid for their families back in Chechnya? Because we know that the regime of Ramzan Kadyrov is extremely severe, and he's basically taking relatives as prisoners. Recently we had a situation when the families of Chechen critics were imprisoned. The family also of Ahmed Zakayev, it's a leader, one of the leader of Chechen independence movement. Also, his brothers were detained by Kadyrov. So those people can be tortured, killed. The Chechen fighters in Ukraine, are they afraid for their families or not?
It doesn't matter if you are fighting with the weapon against the Russian occupants, or if you are fighting with a pen. Let's say these activists, Chechen activists in the world. So we feel not safe. They do take our uncles, sisters, or cousins, and these are the Russian methods of for fighting against us. Last year, they took my some relatives, and they were trying to push on me. They were trying to stop me, and the message from me was short. I say, you can kill every one of them. I will never stop, because I don't have the right to stop.
And just a personal questions. do your relative also support you in this moment? I know that this is a fight. Your relatives are taken as hostages, but do they understand you? Do they support you?
Yeah, it's hard to say because I never talk with my relatives in Chechnya. Let's say more than 10 years. I just cut all the contacts. So they have the right to say we have no contact with Anzor. So in this way. But what I feel, the most important thing is that the people, Chechen people, support us. They need it, and they are ready to stay with us. And they are ready to fight against the regime, Putin's regime and Kadyrov's regime. It's the same. And they are waiting for us, that one day the day will come and we will start fighting or whatever to deoccupy our land.
And how the Russian invasion of Ukraine, how it affected the Chechen society? Did it reinvigorate the independence movement? Did this when Russians attacked Ukraine and the war, big war in our region, broke out, how did the Chechens in Chechnya perceive it? Did they make some parallels with Chechnya and this feeling of fighting for independence, of that independence is needed? Did this feeling has risen in Chechnya?
Yes. Because they went through these two wars, the first Russian-Chechen war and the second Chechen war, and the same things that going on in Ukraine now. The methods of Russian army and what they did in our land and what they are doing there in Ukraine is the same. Let's say what happened in Bucha, Kostomel, Irpin, Mariupol, and other places. So we can name our cities. Let's say Grozny, Argun, Samashki, Novy, Aldy, Meskeryurt, and so on.
You have some pictures with you.
Yeah.
Can you show what is on them?
Yeah, true. I have always these pictures with me. Today, the Russian occupants, politicians or generals, even president of Russia, they call Ukrainian people as a Nazis. And the same was before when the war started in Ichkeria. They say all the Chechens are terrorists and fascists and so on. So I would show you the Russian soldiers. Look.
Yeah, these are the Russian soldiers.
Yeah, in Ichkeria.
Yeah, during probably first Chechen war.
Yeah, yeah. And this is maybe a picture for how to say, to send to their family maybe. And Chechen village Sadik water. They burned out all the village. The same happened in Bucha, for example. And here it's the sign on the house. It's written here, we will burn out the Chechen.
Yeah, we'll destroy all Chechnya.
Yeah, yeah. And let me show this picture, the human shield, right? You remember when Putin said, if the civilian people will go
yeah, we'll stay behind them.
Yeah, behind them. We'll see if they will shoot on them. Yeah. So these are the Russians in Ichkeria. I knew this family. These are the children from one family after airstrike, bombing. And let me show this picture. You know what it is. They were stealing everything, the Russian army. The same here. This guy, this occupant, is stealing TV. And this picture taken in Grozny, they killed one family. It was 1995. It's this picture look like Mariupol, but this is our capital city, Grozny. Yeah. Nothing changed in Russia, and nothing changed in Russian army.
But very simple and drastic question: what the world forgot about what happened in Chechnya back in 2000? So why now the attention of the whole world is paid to Ukraine, and why it was not so in 95, in 2000?
I think it was just to save the relation with Russia, and these countries, the world was afraid of Russia. But now, when they saw what happened in Georgia and Ukraine now, the world understands that we need to stop Russia, because we can hear that these guys are, they say, we will come to Poland, we will come to Finland, we will come to Lithuania and other land, like this, yeah.
So now you think that people from the European Union or around the world, they're more afraid that this war will come
to their
directly
land.
to
yeah,
them?
Yeah, that's right. So for us, for the Chechens, it's a chance. So we have a chance today to stay with the Ukrainian and to win in this war, and after that we will start deoccupying our land, because we need to do this.
You're representing the Chechen civil society, Chechen diaspora. What are the main centers? What is going on in Chechen diaspora after the war started? What you are doing to use this chance, as you say, for national liberation?
Well, it was very difficult during these 20 years. The people were afraid of Russian regime in Chechnya, because as we talked about, they were taking our uncles, sisters, brothers and killing them, torturing them. The dictator's regime, Kadyrov's regime, I mean. And during these 20 years, we were living abroad. It's more than 300,000 Chechens left Chechnya as the refugees. They're in different countries. So what we are doing today, we are in contact. We are planning to one big meeting in France, in Paris, in 25th and 26th November. And we are calling all the Chechens who supports the freedom and who wants to deoccupy our land. We are calling them to come to this meeting. It's a congress. So this is the one thing. The other thing is we are trying to find the support from the world. It's different organizations, politicians or countries, and we feel that these organizations and these people, they really want to help us today. So we are making these contacts before we start to deoccupy our land.
And recently, the Parliament of Ukraine has recognized Chechen Republic of Ichkeria as occupied territory, I quote. And also Ukrainian parliament recognized these massacres or abuse of war crimes committed by Russia in Chechnya during two wars as a genocide. Will you pursue this way? Will you encourage other governments and parliaments to do as Ukrainian parliament did?
Yeah, we met in Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Ukraine. We met with in Verkhovna Rada, the Parliament of Ukraine. There were a lot of meetings during my last trip to Ukraine. And first of all, we were thanking the people of Ukrainian people, Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, and Verkhovna Rada, for these things for us, for our people. It's very important for us. So what we are doing now, we are in contact with other countries that they will follow these steps from Ukraine, and they will also recognize the genocide, the war crimes, and they will recognize that our land is occupied by Russia, and finally they will recognize Ichkeria as an independent state. This is very important. This is very important.
And you said that in Paris it will be a huge meeting will be held from Chechens around the world, and there, as far as I understand, you are planning to elect some government or some organization which will represent the interest of all independent-minded Chechens.
Yes, it's difficult to say what will happen after the Congress, because it's a meeting with our people, and we are trying to get out from the crisis that we are in today. So it can be like we will find the right people who will represent the Chechen diaspora. That these people will work for Chechen diaspora and for Chechen people by representing Chechen people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you said that 2 battalions of Chechen volunteers are fighting for Ukraine, and the infamous ruler of Chechnya, Ramzan Kadyrov, said that about 10,000 Chechens are recruited to fight against Ukraine in Russian army, in Kadyrov army. Are this figure correct? How those people are recruited? Because I've heard that some of them are forcibly recruited. For instance, the families of the relatives of dissidents are also recruited into Kadyrov's army to fight against Ukrainians.
First of all, let's say Kadyrov is a Chechen traitor. He betrayed our land, he betrayed our nation. And what he is doing is, he is working for Putin. He is doing what Putin says to Kadyrov. And just 1 week ago, he said that the Chechens must send 300,000 young guys or Chechen people to Ukraine to fight against the Ukraine. What he is doing is he is helping to kill the Chechen people, and yeah, he is helping Putin. It's a genocide. What he is doing also, and I'm sure that one day he must answer for these things he was doing, and he was doing now. Yeah.
And how strong is Kadyrov regime in Chechnya? What groups are supporting him?
First of all, money support. Yeah. The second thing is, yeah, he has the army, and not so good army, I can say, that can fight, or because they have no idea. And I can say only 2,000-3,000 fighters, and Kadyrov keeps these 2,000-3,000 fighters around him. He wants to save himself. He will never send these fighters to Ukraine. He will send the young people, as we say, mobilizing. Yeah, he's sending these young people by pressure. Yeah, he's saying, if you will not go to Ukraine, we will kill your uncle or cousin or sister or brother. So by pushing on them, he's sending these young guys to Ukraine.
There are also reports that in September, after the mobilization in Russia was announced, there was a meeting, there was a protest in Grozny, and there were women who went to the streets and their relatives of women who were protesting against the mobilization were mobilized and sent on purpose to Ukraine. Is it true?
Yeah, it's true. And what I can say more, I heard these women were killed. Yeah, it's not easy in Chechnya now. If the people will go out demonstrating or against this regime or mobilization, it's very hard there because they can take them, beat them, or torture or kill.
Yeah. So as you said, Kadyrov has about 3,000 loyal troops, but he's also using large-scale terror, and all the population is taken as hostages. What can make this system weaker? When it will get weaker?
I understand the question. You know, if you have the support from your people, you are strong. So we have this support. But we have no fundament, or how to say, we are outside. It's not so easy to go home back to our land, but I'm sure the right time is coming soon, because we feel this support from Ukraine, we feel support from European countries or organizations, and we are making this process faster. So
it's probably too early to ask you because the Congress had not happened yet, but your personal idea of independent Chechnya, what will be the basis of the independent states? What are the basis of the constitution? Will the European model will be taken as an example, or, for instance, Middle East more religious models? What country would you like to build?
Well, our leaders from Johar Dudaev, he was first president of Ichkeria, and the others, they were killed during these 2 wars, all of them. And my father too, in 2005. And I'm ready to support, I'm agree with this model they were building, and I can't go against this. So that means we have the constitution as the other land have it. So I respect my constitution, I respect my people. And you said, the religion. Yes, we are Muslims, but I respect the other religions also.
So you'd like to continue the tradition of Johar Dudaev and Anzorem Maschadowem?
Nothing changing.
Yes. And just I would like to come back to Kadyrov's regime. Kadyrov is now well presenting on the background of Ukrainian war. Allegedly he's sending his sons to the front. He's also reportedly visits his troops in Mariupol. Also Kadyrov is openly criticizing Russian army command. What do you think? Why he's doing so? Does he have any ambitions to take higher position in Kremlin or go outside Chechnya?
Putin used him because Putin wants to use the Chechen people in these kind of wars, like in Georgian war, the war against Georgia, and in the war against Ukraine. He sends Chechens to Syria, for example. If tomorrow something happens in other countries, he wants to send the Chechens to die for Russia to other countries. This is what he is doing. And one thing, Kadyrov never been in Ukraine. and the same his sons. It's not true. You know, the Ukrainian people call him as a TikToker. So he's just coming to Rostov. It's close to Ukraine, making some short videos and publishing it. Nothing more. Nothing more.
And as about coming back to the visions of Chechnya, if what will happen when and if Putin's regime is weakened in war in Ukraine, what processes, in your opinion, will start in Chechnya? How do you expect to reestablish connection with the people back home in Chechnya?
If there will be something in Russia with Putin, there will be changes in our land too. Because if there will be no Putin, there will be no Kadyrov. So today, what we are doing, we are in good contacts with other people like Georgians and Ingushetians, Dagestanian people, nations from Caucasus. And we are in good contact with Lithuanians, Latvia, Estonia, and Kazakhstan. We are telling them, if we will be united today against Russia, so we can make some changes. We can get freedom from Russia, which is important. And we are telling them, if we will be united as one organization, like in Caucasian organization, so it will be easy for us. We can build our future and the future for our people. And we are telling them that we need to support Ukraine today until the end, until we win this Putin's regime.
So my last remark, as far as I understand, your goal is to reestablish the tradition, the state of Johar Dudayev and Aslan Maschadov, and you will use the countries of the region, Caucasian countries, but also Kazakhstan and also East European countries as your allies. Am I right?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
So thank you very much. Our guest was Anzorem Maschadov, son of the former Chechen leader Aslan Maschadov and one of the leaders of Chechen independence movement in Europe. But he hopes that soon, very, very soon, he may come to his home after the victory of Ukraine in the war against Russia. Thank you much.